Any of you who worked with us at the headquarters in Rogers in 2008 for Obama, you know Harry's short. And we're going to keep him short, but he'll do the introduction. He's a big advocate. Thank you very much.
Harry, you don't need a stool.
No. Mom had a sense of humor. She named me Harry. I've been a lifelong Democrat with a strong independent streak, and I appreciate the opportunity to introduce my candidate. And I hope that you will decide that he is your candidate also. When I emailed Ken not long after his announcement as a congressional candidate for the 3rd District, I received a reply, and I told him in my initial email that I would answer the phone and clean the toilets. The unfortunate thing is that he answers his own phone and we don't have an office with a toilet, so he basically said, well, what we'll do with you is we'll put you in the campaign. And I said, well, okay. And so in the initial contacts with Miss Vivian, she asked me one day, what's your official capacity for the campaign? And at the time, we were so, I guess you would say, I don't want to use the term disorganized, but we lacked a certain, shall we say, hierarchy. And what we did was, I told Miss Vivian, I said, well, honestly, I don't have an official position as yet, so I guess you could just refer to me as the crazy uncle that you pull out of the attic on special occasions when you have things to do. And so what he did was he took leave of his senses, our candidate, and appointed me as the Benton County Operations Director, which is a big fancy title for leg man. And I've had more fun doing that with this candidate. As you know, the 3rd District has languished under Republican rule for these many years. And this was the first race that Bill Clinton undertook and lost. The interesting thing is that now we have a choice. We have a true choice. We don't have a corporate-owned Democrat. We don't have a corporate-owned Republican that we need to support, but we have a real Democrat with some guts that is not afraid to take on the gigantic Republican behemoth in the 3rd District. Mr. Aden is a native of Pine Bluff, Arkansas. He brought up over in eastern Arkansas. He calls his hometown, I think it's Payne Town or something like that, 100 and something people. He joined the Army and spent 11 years there. Came out of the service as a staff sergeant, which is quite an achievement. He holds the Green Beret, was a member of the 1st Infantry Division and the 82nd Airborne Division, which I had the privilege while in my military service of working with the 82nd Airborne Division in Vietnam. And they were a high-class unit. They don't take losers. They take winners. And so we have a winner in Kenneth Aden. And I'd like to introduce him now to you and let him explain what makes Ken Aden tick.
I hope everybody's doing great. I'm really not quite used to using a microphone, so I'll have to get used to it, I guess. As Harry mentioned before, I also like to refer to Harry as my dad. In case many people don't know, we had an article that came out in the paper this past weekend. My father was killed on Christmas Eve back in December 23rd, 1994. And, you know, there's not a day that goes by where I don't think about my dad. I miss him. Unfortunately, today, my grandparents couldn't be here with me. Because after my dad passed away, it was my grandparents who took that role and raised me. And I can safely say that had it not been for my grandfather and my grandmother, I wouldn't be standing here today. I remember a time when I was 21 years old, and I had just gotten a 1978 Ford Mustang GT with the T-tops and whole 9 yards. A beautiful car. I decided it'd be kind of cool to drive about 70 miles an hour in a 45 zone. And I got pulled over. And I said, my grandparents live just right down the road. Well, the guy called my grandparents up. My grandfather said, well, you know what, just take him with you, he'll learn his lesson. Needless to say, I spent a night in jail, never looked back since, and my grandfather taught me a very valuable lesson. It taught me a valuable lesson, obviously not to speed again, and that my grandparents were there for me. They have done wonders and been such a great positive role model in my life. And that's why it's so important that we talk about one of the main things here in this district, that is Medicare and Social Security. My grandfather's 85 years old now. He's being diagnosed with congestive heart failure. And because of the proposed Ryan budget cuts and everything to Medicare and Social Security, he's looking at paying more out of his pocket for his prescription medication each month. And he can't afford to do it. And as a result, that means my grandfather is going to have less years in his life, and I'm going to be able to spend less time with him. That means he doesn't have the money to get out and travel around like he used to, or go and visit family. And that's sad. It's criminal. It's disgusting. You know, I may be a young guy. I'm 33 years old. I'll be 34 this upcoming year. But I can tell you one thing with a certainty, that if you even think of cutting Medicare, if you even think of cutting Social Security, you're a criminal. Point blank and simple. We have to let people know what we feel about it. You know, Medicare and Social, it's not a Ponzi scheme. It's not. Some people refer to it as a Ponzi scheme. As a matter of fact, Congressman Womack said on the radio or on TV station the other day that Medicare and Social Security are the reasons why our country is in debt. Really? No. Wrong answer there, big guy. The reason why we're in debt is because of the different fraud, waste, and abuse that goes on at all levels of our government. Point blank and simple. We spend $19.2 million an hour on wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. Okay? I'm paying into Medicare. I'm paying into Social Security. It's not a Ponzi scheme. We need this to be here for our future generations that come through. You know, I just found out not too long ago that I'm going to be a parent. We're going in for our first ultrasound tomorrow, and we're right at 13 weeks. And I'm so excited. So excited. As a matter of fact, all day tomorrow, that's all I'm going to be doing is in the doctor's office, watching the monitor, hearing the heartbeat, whole 9 yards. And I can't tell you how excited I am, because I want things to be better for that child when he's born. You know, I want things to be better for everyone. Unfortunately, we have so many corporate-owned politicians in office today, and that's the reason why we have the problems that we do. We don't have enough individuals to stand up and fight and say, no, this is wrong, this is how it's going to be done. This election is so important, okay? I know people say that all the time, no, this election is important. This election is crucial, okay? One of the things with the Obama Jobs Act, that would have brought in over $987 million to our state alone. That would have put people to work, okay? We need to stand up and oppose any cuts to Medicare and to Social Security. Bottom line, as a result of the proposed cuts alone, over 9,100 seniors are going to be affected here in our district at a cost of over $85 million in 10 years. The majority of that cost comes from rising prescription medication. It's wrong. These corporations have a stranglehold on us, and we have to end that now. We have to. This go along, get along thing, no, it's over with. Okay? We have to stand up. We are Democrats. We are proud to be Democrats. Okay? I couldn't be more proud to be a Democrat. And a lot of people tell me, well, Ken, you can't win this race. You don't come from a family with money. You don't come from, you're not a lawyer, you're not a doctor. Well, I got news for you. We need more citizen representation in D.C. Okay, bottom line. We need more people to stand up and say, you know what, this is how it's going to be done. We need more representatives to put the people first. If you put people first, the rest will take care of itself. You would never have to worry about re-election if you did what the voters wanted you to do. You know, we have had so many great campaign events all across this 3rd district. So many small towns we've been to, and we're always talking about Medicare, Social Security, letting people know that we are not going to stand for any privatization of it. That we're going to stand up and we're going to fight, because guess what? Even though I might be young, I'm fighting for my grandfather, okay? The most important person in my life. The individual that after my father died, he took care of me. And had it not been for my grandfather, I wouldn't be standing here today. You know, we owe it. We owe it to everybody. We need to let them know what separates us as Democrats versus Republicans. We should not be ashamed of it. We shouldn't. If we're ashamed to get out there and tell folks how it is, well, we're wrong. Bottom line, we're wrong. We need to go out there and we need to let folks know what we stand for. We are the party of the middle class. And the last time I checked, the majority of residents in Arkansas and in the 3rd district come from middle class backgrounds, including myself. When I got out of the Army as a Green Beret, I had a choice. Take a contract job overseas, making $150,000 a year tax-free, or coming back home to be with my family. That choice was plain and clear. I wanted to come back home. I wanted to be with my family. And as a result of that, I had a hard time finding a job. So anyway, I wound up working as a security guard for $7.75 an hour. Okay? Nothing wrong with that. It pays the bills. It doesn't, you know, it did what it did. But we have to fight. Okay? We need to bring in the right companies, the right jobs to this district. There are so many great things about Arkansas, and especially the 3rd Congressional District. We need to make people aware of what we got to offer, and that we as Democrats are not going to lay down and take it anymore. We have to fight. We have to stand up. You know, they were even talking the other day about privatization is the new word. Oh, we want to privatize Medicare. We want to privatize Social Security. We want to privatize veterans benefits. No. That's wrong, okay? I would ask for a show of hands of how many people in this room are on Medicare and Social Security, but I'd be willing to bet that better than probably 80% of them. Can I please see a show of hands? Yeah. That's why this election is important. That's why it's important. Because if we don't stand up now, if we don't make people aware of the fact that Congressman Womack went on TV the other day and he said, you know what, it's the reason why we have this national debt crisis. No, it's not. No. If we don't refute these lies, if we don't get out there and stand up, we're going to face defeat again. You know what? And I don't like being defeated. I'm certain everybody out here in this audience doesn't like to be defeated. But we can do this. We can stand up and we can make people aware of what's going on. You know, it's not going to be easy. Nothing ever is easy, but anything that's worthwhile is never easy. You know, and I'm so proud to be able to stand before you today and talk about some of the issues such as Medicare and Social Security that are so important to me. You know, everywhere I go to and I talk about it, I see my grandfather, point blank and simple. As a result of the proposed cuts to Medicare and Social Security, his prescription drugs have went up from $200 a month to over $700 a month. My grandmother cannot even afford to get her shots for her arthritis in her hips right now. She used to go out and walk 2 miles every day, and she's 84 years old. Now she doesn't do that anymore. It's too painful for her to get up, because the shots that she needs to take are now $2,200 a pop. It's insane. It's disgusting, and it's wrong. I hope you all will join me in this fight this year in standing up for what we believe in. Letting people know that we're not going to take these proposed cuts to Medicare and Social Security. That Medicare and Social Security are not the reasons why our country is in debt.
The reasons why our country is in debt is because of the fraud, waste, and abuse that goes on at every level. Right? I mean, I mentioned before, over $19 million an hour spent on the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. We need to strengthen these programs. We do not need to cut them. And if I'm elected as your congressman, I will oppose any cuts to Medicare and Social Security. And you can bet that I'm going to fight, and that I'm going to fight hard. We need more citizen representation in D.C. More people that understand what it's like to have to worry about paying a light bill or putting food on the table. We don't need people that are out of touch with this district, bottom line. The majority of our residents here in the 3rd District and across the state of Arkansas make those choices every night. Do I have enough food? Do I have enough money to pay my light bill, or do I buy groceries for the kids? That's disgusting, and it's wrong. Majority of our seniors are struggling on how they're going to make it every day. Do I have enough for my prescription medication, or am I going to put $5 in gas in to get to the supermarket to get some groceries that I need to eat? We won't even talk about the fact that due to those proposed cuts and due to the cost of prescription medication that keeps rising, a lot of our seniors don't even have the money to run their AC during the summertime or their heat during the wintertime. It's wrong. Any way you slice it, it's wrong. And these are the things that we need to make people aware of, that we impose any cuts. We need to let them know that we are Democrats and we're not afraid to stand up for what we believe in. I'm so thankful to be here today, and you know, I'm not going to say I have all the answers. Nobody ever does. Any person that tells you they have an answer to everything is a liar. Okay? The one thing that I do promise is if elected, I'm going to work hard for each and every one of you as your next congressman and as a proud Democrat. I'm proud of my humble origins. I'm extremely proud of the fact that I'm fighting each and every day for my grandfather. And I so wish that he could have been here with me today. And to Mr. Womack, I would love to say this. Yeah, you definitely have your blinders on if you think that Social Security and Medicare are the reasons why this country's in debt. You obviously have no clue what's going on in your home district. But we need to make more people aware, okay? We need to let individuals know that, yes, we do have a candidate that's running. Yes, we do have an individual that's going to carry this fight. I'm not afraid to. I'm 33 years old. If for some unholy reason we don't win this election, guess what? We're going to be back again. And we're going to be back again. And we're going to be back again. Just so everybody knows a little bit about myself, I was in the Army. I went to school. I majored in journalism, switched my major over to renewable energy technology. That's one of my major passions, is, you know, bringing in good industry and good jobs to this region. Secondly, my passion is veterans, obviously. I would ask for a show. How many veterans do we have here in the audience? Okay. Thank you for your service. I'm proud to be standing here as a Democrat, and I'm proud to be standing here as a veteran of the Army for 11 years. But we have to do things to make it better for our returning veterans. We've got over a 14% unemployment rate among veterans returning from Iraq and Afghanistan, 14.2 actually. When veterans get out of the service, they're like myself. They're wondering, hey, do I go back to college right away, or do I go to work somewhere? Well, unfortunately, the options are so bleak for them. A lot of them, they don't want to wait those 3 to 4 months for their educational benefits to kick in, so they go to work. They become slaves to the paycheck, and they never wind up pursuing their educational goals and needs. I want you to know that throughout this upcoming year, that we are going to carry this message that we do not want our Medicare touched, we do not want our Social Security touched. Leave it alone. Quit proposing cuts to it. Bottom line. And I will say this much, that we are going to continue to fight, and we're not going to stop. At this point in time, I would welcome any questions that anybody might have about what we're trying to do for Medicare, what we're trying to do for Social Security, and what we're going to do to make this district better for individuals and for residents. Did you have pen up, so I guess?
I did.